Hello, Ken Spriggs here, uploading a video, and partly because it's May the 4th, it's Star Wars Day, May the 4th be with you, and also because I have been planning in the works here for about the last couple months, actually a month or two, one other project that I want to get completed in time for Wonderfest, and it is a Star Wars theme. So let me go ahead and show this to you. And I'm going to try to be working on this one and starting this here shortly. Well, I've already done the printing of it. It's a 3D file, but I'm going to start working on it and also be completing my Aries 1B. So let's go ahead and take a look. All right, so I decided to go ahead and upload this video today since it is May the 4th, Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you. And what this is a build that I'm going to be starting here, and I also want to get completed in time for Wonderfest. So there's two models I want to get done. Obviously, the Aries 1B, which I will complete, which is very closely nearing to being complete, and this one here. And this one I've had for several weeks now, and I had it printed off. This is a 3D printed model, obviously, and it is from gambody.com. And if you can't tell already, this is the N1 Starfighter from, it's actually from the book of Boba Fett, but it's the new Starfighter for the Mandalorian. So let me get in here. Lots of parts here. Very nicely done kit. Very nicely done model. Here's the figure of Mando. And of course, he's in the cockpit flying it. He's got the little controllers in his hand. Very nicely done. And you have tiny, tiny little Grogu. Very, very tiny. And he goes in the little bubble behind. Oops. Behind it. So let me kind of go over this ship. So there's been several designs out there that are 3D prints. This is the best one that I've seen. I really, really like it a lot. So I tried to print it so that it was small enough, but it's still going to be a sizable kit. I keep hitting these things right here. Let me get them out of the way. It's going to be a sizable kit when it's done. And I have some ideas for a diorama that I want to do on it as well. So let me kind of go over the parts. So of course you got your main fuselage. There's a little area for the bubble, for little Grogu to go into. Here's the cockpit. And there's the front of the cockpit. Try to give you a shot of that. Maybe I can do it from down here. There's the controls that are all built in. There we go. Some nice detail on the sides. Nice detail down here. Over here. Very nicely done. And where it connects, it has these little squared openings. It actually has little teeny square pieces that go in that can hold it together and kind of line it up, which is kind of cool. So there's the main fuselage. Then you have this thing that looks like a rowboat. And this part slides in right to here. And I still have to clean up several of these. I started to, but not completely. So you can see already it's getting a little longer. And then you have the two wing sections. Some cool looking detail right there. And they have that rounded part. So they go like this on each side. Glue together. Yeah, and again, I still got to do some cleaning up. So these go in there nicely. Oops, let me get back down here. Okay, so you can see it's starting to come together and show how it looks. And I just dropped it. Let me do one other piece. So you have this tail piece, which is kind of cool. Some really good detail on it. So that goes right into this slot in the back. Nice little keyed part. So that goes in there. So that makes it pretty long. And then again, you would have your part right here. You would have these on the side. Okay, so you can see it's going to be pretty sizable. And then even when you have this on here, then you're going to have the engines, which I'll show you in a minute. But those are going to go right on this part. Yep, right there. Trying to do this in several pieces. All right, so you can see it's going to be a fairly sizable. Yeah, let me try sitting it down and doing it. There you go. So you can see. And then, of course, you have your engines, which go right in there on either side. And I'll show you those in a minute. I kind of changed those up a bit. You've got this engine part, which goes into here. So that's pretty cool. You have all of these other pieces. You have 4 of these that go under. I'm not sure exactly where they go, but then you have like these guns. They go into these slots right here. Of course, it comes with a canopy, which I'm going to have to try to make like a vacuum form version to go onto it. It goes like that. You get the little bubble over where Grogu goes, right there. And you have a cool seat for Mando to sit in. So he's sitting in there in the cockpit. And then you got this extra thruster part. It's pretty neat. And that goes underneath. Obviously, I'm not going to show that. There's a few other things. There's like the head pad goes behind his head. All right. So very, very cool. Very cool indeed. Let me show you. Let me get a roller, and I'll tell you how long that's going to be. All right. So if we measure from the tail, it's about almost a foot. Well, it's a little over a foot, actually. It's about a foot long. So that's a good size spaceship for sure. Very nicely done. So what I also did, now I'm going to light up the engines on it, and I've already played with some ideas on how to do that. Actually, before I show you that, let me show you this. When I was at, I showed this in my video for the IPMS convention that I went to recently. I got these clear canopies. There's 2 of them. They come in the set. So I wasn't quite sure. Obviously, I didn't have this with me, so I wasn't sure if it would work or not. And I don't know if I can make it work. We'll have to see. It's not quite right, but it's close. But I do have my vacuum form machine. So all I can do is do like I did on my astronaut from 2001, where I just took this part, filled it up with probably some epoxy sculpt, make it nice and hard, smooth this out, and then just make a vacuum form. And the same with the bubble for little Grogu. I could do a vacuum form bubble for that as well. So what I've been doing is playing with some ideas about how to do the engines. So I cast these in hollow, so they're opened up. And the way that it's supposed to normally go is you have the engine, you have this part goes into here like this, and it just looks like this. Some pretty decent detail on that engine, which is nice. I like that. Some cool detail on the front. And this is where the where it hooks into the wing. So what I started doing, let me see if I have the right one. Yeah. So what I did was I drilled a hole through here, and it comes out underneath this groove right here. So what I'll end up doing is probably notching out a groove through here, taking it out to the engine, and just, you know, running a wire through that way. And once that comes out through here, that's underneath in that open boat part, and I can just run it out through a post and into my diorama. So I still have to keep working on that. Now what I did come up with though is I took this part and I put it into Prusa Slicer, which I've become pretty good at using. It's a software for 3D printing, and you can cut parts in it and things like that. It has other features, but I've gotten pretty good at cutting parts. So what I ended up doing is I cut this part off. So this is the part that actually sticks out that isn't lit up. So what I can tell from the screenshots is that right down below these ridges is where it lights. It's like a blue light, and it's supposed to be whatever the plasma or engine exhaust. So what I did was I printed out the bottom rounded part, well, the rounded with some ridges, and I did it in a couple different options. I did it in clear, well, all clear. I did it as hollow with a hole in it, with the idea of lighting it, and I did it as a solid piece. The same thing. So this solid piece goes down into here, and it goes down and flush. I don't want to push it all the way in. It's a little tricky to get out. But underneath here, where that hole is, I'm going to have a blue Mega SMD. And that's going to light this. And I found out that the solid is better because the blue Mega just radiates the light nice and evenly. There's no hot spot. There's no issues with it. And then what I'll do is this goes on top, and it just lines up with the little notches. And so all you're going to see is the edge. And it's going to be glowing blue. So what I did was I went ahead and I marked up this little version. I printed out several. So this will be the amount that's showing through. You can see it's got a little grooves in it. And then of course, like I said, you're going to have the engine. And this actually lines up with the little notches. So it'll be just a little bit shining through that you're going to be able to see. So let me show you. I actually have a blue SMD right here, or Mega SMD. All right. All right, so that's going to wash it out a bit on the camera, but if I take it through there, it lights up that clear part nicely, and it looks really cool, especially from the end. It's going to look really neat. And I just have black electrical tape around it so it blocks the rest of it, so you can kind of get the effect of what it's going to look like. And it's much better in real life because it's a real nice blue that you see in the film or the TV show. All right, so those are going to look pretty cool coming out of the back. All right, so sorry, get that out of the way. I'm not sure if I want to light up the cockpit or not. I'll have to wait and see how it goes. I certainly could, because the cockpit, again, is just that little, this part right here, which is all open. So when this part's out, this is basically the bottom of the cockpit. You got the seat in there, and you got Mando sits in there. Now this is solid, so I can't really light the controls. but I could put a light actually like right below the controls. I could put a light right down in here, shining back. So we'll see. It would be pretty easy to do. And I'm already bringing lights into this little area anyway. And what I'm planning on doing, the idea that I want to do, is when he first gets this, he's kind of disappointed with it because he wanted a Razor Crest. And she says, well, give it a try. Just go ahead and fly it. So he goes out and he starts flying it, and he's saying, oh, it's flying really erratically or badly. And she's like, you're trying to fly it like a Razor Crest. Fly it like a starfighter. So he opens it up, and he's flying through this canyon, and he's like, I forget the swear word they use, like dang ferric or something, but he's like, damn, this thing is fast. And he's flying through the canyons, and he flies past a womp rat, and it's afraid it's going to get blasted. But I'm going to do a little canyon, like a back wall of the canyon, and then maybe like much lower wall in the front of us, and it's going to be flying like at an angle, like it's going to be flying like this way. And so what I'll do is have a post coming out of the back that'll go into the canyon wall that you're not going to see, for the wiring to go down and light it up, and have batteries in the back. So that's the idea that I'm going to work on for this. And also I got a couple of things, because this is all basically like a worn chrome silver or aluminum even. So I got some Alclad, which I can paint some chrome, but I think that might be a little bright. So I saw somebody else using a product called Rub and Buff, which is a silver leaf, and it's a metallic finish. So you rub it on, and it's very thin liquid, and then you just buff it, and it shines up really, really good. I put a little bit on right there. But what I would do first is obviously prime this, and then I would still put the gloss black on like I would for Alclad, and then let that dry. Over that, buff this other stuff on, and try to get a really nice silver shine out of it. And obviously a lot of weathering and wear and that kind of thing on it too. Plus it has a little bit of yellow patches here and there. So I'm going to look at a lot of the footage. But a really cool 3D printed file for sure from Gambody. I really like Gambody. They do great products. So I will definitely be working on this. Hope to get this all completed in time for Wonderfest as well. And take that with me along with my Aries 1B. So look forward to some more videos of this coming up soon. Happy May the 4th be with you. Happy Star Wars Day. And I will see you in the next video. All right, so look for more videos on the building of this N1 Starfighter and getting that put together. And also lots more work on my Aries 1B, which I should be wrapping up here very shortly. And time is running out. I only have about one more month left of working time before Wonderfest. So I definitely want to get these completed and wrapped up and ready to go for Wonderfest. So, all right, so stay tuned. Thank you to all my new subscribers. And stay tuned for more of both of those kits. And happy Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you as well.